Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Boss Talks. I'm here with Chandler of Blue Rose Management. You might recognize her from the Women at Record Labels panel, but today we are here to talk about her journey in artist management. So Chandler, how did you get into Blue Rose?
Thank you. Yeah. So Blue Rose actually got started when I was living in New York. A friend of mine named Justin actually was an intern at 300 Entertainment, and he was there like in the A&R department, and he was like, I like really want to do this, and I want to find my own artist, and I know I can do it. And he started to work really closely with an artist and producer that I work with, and he just like came over one day and was like, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start this company. And the second he brought it up, I was like, well, if you need help, like know that I'm accessible and I want to do it. Because at the time, I actually was working at another company. I was working at AWOL and Cobalt. So I was already working with independent artists and really kind of just watching their lives change. So when he really kind of brought the idea forward and then called us one day and was like, hey, like I bought a domain, it's called Blue Rose. There's a whole backstory behind it. You know, hopefully that one day will come out. And I want him to share that story because it's really personal. But when he came up with the idea and he just said he did it, it was so inspiring for me because as like you said, like a lot of people know me from the record label panel, and I've been working on the label side for a long time, and I've been doing it and been working in radio promotion, and through that channel and through everything that I've been doing on that side, I've really found a true passion for artist management and working with artists directly. And I think it's something that has always been inside of me, and I've always wanted to do it. I just was always on the label side. It was just, I fell into that, by networking, obviously, and like kind of interning and moving through the channels, like I said, so I never thought that it was possible for me to kind of take a step out from that and really kind of put a lot of time and effort into really taking on clients. So when he started the company, he signed 3 artists outside of Connecticut, and I moved then to Los Angeles. So I was kind of bummed because I was like, wow, great. This management company got started. Now I moved to LA. I don't have my partner here right next to me. So what do I do? So it took a little bit of time. It took about 6 months to a year that I kind of just one day I woke up and was like, I'm doing it. Like I'm putting all of my eggs into this basket and I'm just going to say, screw it. And I'm going to go for it. And it's been the most liberating feeling because I finally have found myself. And I know that it might sound corny, it might sound silly, but, working on the business side for a long time, or like I said, on the label side, I haven't had the direct relationship with a lot of artists, but when I started to transition and I worked at Sony, I was able to have hands-on experience with artists, in a very different way because we're such a small team. So that gave me a little bit of a push to recognize that I could be a part of something a lot bigger on the other side as well. I still love working at the label. I still do all of that. But at the same exact time, I'm able to take on writers and producers. And I work with one artist currently directly that I'm able to really just kind of find myself and find that I have the hustle, the New York hustle that you and I spoke about, that, I have that drive and I have that passion and I have the understanding of what needs to get put into an artist project. And even a writer or producer, I know what has to get done. I know that the channels and I know the chain of command, whatever the hell you want to call it, I just know what needs to get done. It's not something that, you can really be taught. It's not like a job. Anybody could be a manager. You just actually have to have the drive. Do you want to do it? Do you want to spend 24/7, working with your clients? Do you want to be able, to have them put their trust in you where you have to be their eyes and their ears on the ground and making sure that you're putting their name out for everybody to know about? So when, like I said, with Blue Rose getting started, it was really that big jump that I needed, that just knowing that I could be a part of something a lot bigger that was going to grow and expand. And already with Blue Rose getting started, 3 of the clients that are signed with us, that work with us technically, already have been offered, major label deals. And I've been in conversations with people, to kind of get that ball rolling, and right now we're taking a step and just evaluating everything. So it just validated to me that this was the right decision and I'm making all of the right moves. And with that in mind, that opened up the door for me. Now with being in LA, my network has grown so much more on the management and the artist side. So I've been able to kind of just meet with more teams, and I'm working with an artist named Dylan Matthew with his team, who's Solid State Management, and have been able to grow my network even more, so I'm working with more like EDM producers. I'm working, with more writers and with more songwriters and producers. It's just grown so much in the last year and a half for me personally that I'm just so excited to be able to meet with more people post quarantine and talk to them and schedule more in-person things, because I've been doing so many of these Zoom sessions and Zoom conversations that I just want to hang out with so many people and meet them and just tell them my story and tell them that it's okay to take a leap of faith, and just take a chance on yourself and understand that when you feel something and you think that it's the right time, it's okay. Just do it. Go for it. And if it fails, it's okay. If it's successful, even better. But it's okay to fail and it's okay to make mistakes. And I've made some mistakes along the way, but I've learned that I'm putting all of the good energy forward. And I'm just excited to be a part of Blue Rose and be a part of more teams that are growing and taking on more clients.
Absolutely. For that ending. So you talked about moving from New York City to Los Angeles. Can you speak a little bit to the differences in the music scene in both of those cities?
I feel that the difference between New York and LA is that people that actually grow up and work within New York City have a very tight-knit group. And in Los Angeles, it seems that a lot more people are free-spirited. Personally, I've seen a lot more sessions get done. I've seen more artists, expand outside of their network, where when I was in New York, it was really hard for me to book sessions. So many teams just stuck together and, and I get it, when you're comfortable with a certain group, you want to work within that if it works for you. But I really have found that in LA, you could cold email as many artists and producers and writers, and people most of the time are down if they just want to, work with more people and create something. And that's what I think is the most beautiful thing about actually being in LA. And I've seen my network grow, on my own, being able to reach out to other managers and companies, more people have actually taken meetings here than when I was in LA. Oh. I mean, when I was in New York, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So how do you think that being a female artist manager, a woman manager who's setting up these sessions, do you think that plays into that at all?
I think it can. It definitely can. Something that I've kind of taken the approach, and the reason why on my emails I go by CC, is because honestly, if somebody sees a recognizable name and or doesn't see a recognizable name, that could deter somebody getting something done. I started to go by CC because, a lot of people knew me as Chandler that worked at the record label. So I figured, let me take a step outside of that comfort zone, completely remove myself from that network and go by something completely new. And, in the very beginning, cold emailing a lot of people, some of those emails went unread. Nobody wanted to answer them. But in the last year, more people are like, oh, hey, like you seem really easy to work with. Like, let's get these tracks done. Let's get these sessions sorted. It's been a really different experience being able to kind of just network, as a female, because a lot of people just don't really know, who I am, like on the manager side. Actually, I just literally realized that I'm not answering your question. Like actually, but I think that when it comes to being a female manager, you just got to hit the ball rolling. I don't look at it as I'm a female, you're a male. I really just think that hustle doesn't go unnoticed. And we talked about this a little bit offline, that New York hustle, it goes unmatched to some people that I've met in LA. I think that, being able to grow up in New York City and being able to see the ins and outs of, working at record labels, working with artists, seeing how sessions get operated, I really try to remove myself from this, I guess you could say, the stigma of being a female, like in the music business. Mm-hmm. And I really try to separate myself from just letting people just think because I am a female, I can't get a job done. you know, I'm more responsive half the time. If somebody emails me, you even know, like if you email me, I'm going to hit you back as soon as possible, because I don't think it's appropriate to let somebody just sit unread, you know.
So important.
Yeah. And I think it's important that when you're a female in this business, like, don't let anybody stop you. Just continue to just network and work. And if you need to set up sessions, don't worry about being annoying. If you need to get something done, just do it. You know, if somebody wants to put this whole, oh, well, she's a female, she doesn't know what she's talking about, well, then you don't work with them. And I've done that a million times. If anybody has ever tried to belittle me or think that I couldn't handle something, goodbye. Like, I don't work with you then, and that's okay. And, you know, I've told the people that I've worked with, you know, and artists, writers, etc., you know, if you respect me and you respect my vision and you respect that I want you to do everything at your full potential, understand that I'm going to do it on my side. And if anybody tries to go against me and tries to use the fact that I'm a female against me, then they're not going to be a part of our team and they're not going to be a part of our network.
Exactly. Yeah. And that'll pay off for you in the long run, right? Because then you just have a stronger team around you that believes in you.
Exactly. And I think that's the biggest thing about being a manager, even being a female, you know, surrounding yourself around people who are like-minded, but also, you know, can bring new and fresh ideas to the table. You know, you want to have a really big team of people who collectively just add to the pie, in a lack of better words. Yeah. You know, if you're able to kind of have people from different sectors, you know, if you have someone, you know, that does video editing really well, and you have someone who's able to be a creative director, okay, let's bring everybody together and just get everyone on the same page. Not everybody doesn't have to do, you know, 17 different jobs well. If you're able to do one job well, and you understand the vision, I want them to be a part of my team and have them be a part of what I'm trying to build, you know, whether that's female or male. You know, I want to be able just to bring people together who actually get the vibe that I'm trying to put forward.
Yes, exactly. So when you're building this team around an artist, there's a lot of people that go into an artist team, you know, business manager, lawyer, creative directors. What are some keys to, when you have an artist who's up and coming and just starting to pop off, what would be some of the first team members that you want to get on their team?
I literally have been learning this step, like, and it's so corny. Like, I read so many books about this. But I think the most important person that you need on your team is a lawyer. And that is something that I learned the hard way. I did not have an entertainment lawyer probably up until a week or 2 weeks ago. I've been doing everything by myself. You know, I've had friends that have went to law school, so I would send them contracts. You know, I didn't have an official lawyer that worked on our team because we were never in that wheelhouse to really have those conversations and really get to that level yet. So, you know, we've taken the time now to really kind of expand our network, and we started working with this lawyer who is based in New York, and he hands down is the best person that we've added to our team. And my Lord, he has made my life already so much easier. You know, just being able to have the transparency from someone who's like, hey, like, I got you, you know, and when deals start to roll in, like, no, we got this together. I was like, wow, it sounds so silly. But I think an entertainment lawyer is like one of the most important people that you need on your team. Besides obviously having a really good manager. Some people add business managers, they add day-to-day managers, and they kind of build within that. But I really feel that if you have a lawyer and you have a manager who's able to just kind of handle your day-to-day work, but then have someone who's able to handle the legal side, those are the most important people that you should start with. That's a personal preference that I believe. Other than that, I really do think that if you're an artist who's very creative, like very visual driven, if you have someone who is a creative director or somebody who actually can just handle your content on a daily basis, handles videos, handles photos, that is so important. And I know, and that's another thing that you and I have spoken on, like offline, you know, I think that with the way that the world is moving, everything is content based. Everything is visual. If you don't have the visuals, people don't take you seriously. And if you're able to at least just crank out, you know, a photo shoot or a video shoot once or twice, you know, every couple weeks or every other week, however you want to operate, that's really, really important. And that's something that, you know, we have on our team that we're adding to our team and been developing. So all of our artists and, our writers and producers are all taken care of. So, behind the scenes work is taken care of, like visually, just so we have things on lock, so when we need to post something or something gets big, like we could walk through that process of how a song or a record, anything, like whatever the case may be, actually be showcased like on the internet, honestly. TikTok, whatever the hell it is now.
It changes every day, right?
I know.
Like,
I know.
hard to keep up with. That's why it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Social media manager. But yeah, that's very important, for clients. You're right. Everything is visual. But when you, as a manager, when you're going to decide if you're going to take someone on as a client, or when you've met your clients, your artists the first time, what's something that you look at to know if you as a manager and them as a client will work well together?
Well, I'll definitely say that, sorry, I just made my computer shake. I think it is so, so important that from the get-go, you do not jump into anything. Do not sign paperwork. If any artist out there gets a manager request, or a manager hits you up and is like, hey, I want to sign you, and makes you sign a contract, don't do that. Like, you don't know what that other person's work ethic is, just as much as I don't know, as an artist, if I'm looking for somebody, what are they going to bring to the table? And I say this to every single person that I meet with, I am going to do whatever I can to help you, and want to do whatever I can to help you. But if you don't understand your vision, you don't understand your project, you just think that you're the next up and coming artist, what value does that bring me if I'm going to put all of my time and energy into something and you can't do the same thing? And I've had meetings with a couple clients, even writers and producers, because I love working with writers and producers, because they're the people who are bringing the artists the music anyway. Because half the time people don't even realize that artists don't write their own music. Thankfully now in like 2020 and moving forward, some people have a better idea of that. But, actually just being able to put a good team together. It goes back to what I was saying, being able to sit down with them and just say, what are your goals? What are your visions? And what do you need in a manager? What are you thinking that you need? And vice versa. What can I bring to you? And I give them a little bit of my backstory, explain, where I came from, how I've navigated, through the label system, worked on major label projects, have had the opportunity to see the ins and outs of how to work marketing plans, press, putting together a 6-month plan. If you don't understand those ins and outs, how can we move forward? How are we going to move the needle if you don't even know what you want? I can't develop something if I don't understand your creative vision at all, and I'll say that, I've met and had meetings with people. I've worked with clients before that, I thought we would gel and I thought we would work, and it didn't. And that's okay. And it's understanding that we are navigating through this together, and every single day we make mistakes, we learn something, but it's when you're trying to form that bond and really trying to take on a new client, I think it's really crucial to take it slow and develop something over time. Like I said, if you're an artist out there, you're a writer, you're a producer, and someone calls you and is like, I want to manage you, and they force you to sign a contract where they're taking 20% of your income right off the bat, it just seems transactional to me. It doesn't seem real, and something that I say to people, which, whether it's the wrong thing or not, it's just the way that I like to work, is I don't make people sign anything right out the bat. If I help you and we move the needle and we get somewhere and then you leave me, then guess what? It wasn't meant to be. I mean, I would hope that wouldn't happen, but I just think it's really crucial for people to take care of themselves and look after themselves, just like I would do for myself.
Yeah. So when do you think is the time that you do sit down with an artist, when you've been working together, it's been working out, and say, okay, it's time to make this official. Let's get the paperwork.
I think that after, a couple months, you should reevaluate, how things have gone over a certain amount of time. I just started working with somebody new recently. And once again, we haven't signed any papers. We haven't done any of that, and in conversation, we've talked about it where it's like, hey, what are next steps? What are we should be doing? And it's, let's build another plan. Let's build a 6-month plan. Let's see what we can do. What have I brought to the table in X amount of time? What have you brought to the table? And then once we kind of evaluate what that is, we come up with a mutual agreement of, okay, let's try a 6-month deal. Like, let's sign a 6-month. Let's try to sign a 1 year, and that's kind of how I personally operate. I think it's different for everybody. I think that in addition, I might move quicker with someone in 2 months because a song could get viral, where I would say, hey, listen, like, we did all of this together. Now what are we thinking? But that's why I think it goes back to the last question, where it's really, really important that you have an upfront conversation where, you're kind of friends, your family, you have that real raw kind of conversation up front. And that's something that I've learned along the way. Like I said, I've worked with people and didn't have those conversations up front. And it definitely was sad when I stopped working with some people, and it really, really bums me out. But at the same time, it's meant to be, and it's okay. But it's having those real and raw conversations up front will lead then to the long route of, or the process of being able to say, hey, listen, okay, we've been working together now for 6 months. We've been working together for a year, whatever the case is. And now I think we should make it official. It really just depends on the person or the client where, what happens if you go viral overnight, and we don't have something signed? I would hope that the person that I was working with, that obviously I put my trust in, they put trust in me, would be able to say, okay, like, let's ink this, let's make it official, and let's build something beautiful together, versus, okay, I'm going off to now work with some major company or some major manager, and that happens a lot though, so I put a lot of trust in the people that I bring on, and that's why I'm very cautious with now.
Well, thank you so much, Chandler. Thank you for being here with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's it.